Los Angeles, California, 1982. A man is sitting in a waiting room that is designed to make you feel small. Every casting office in Hollywood is designed this way, though no one will say so. The chairs are slightly too low. The receptionist does not look up when you come in. The magazines on the side table are 3 months old. The air conditioning runs a little too cold. These are not accidents. They are the architecture of a system that needs you to need it more than it needs you. There are 2 other men waiting, both younger. One is rehearsing something under his breath, his lips moving slightly, the performance already starting before he is in the room. The other is looking at his watch.
Sam Elliott sits in one of the low chairs and does not appear to notice any of this. He is not rehearsing. He is not looking at his watch. He is sitting with his hat on his knee and his hands in his lap and his back straight, the way a man sits when he has been to a lot of waiting rooms and has decided that waiting is not a thing that needs to be managed. He is 38 years old. He has been in this city for 16 years. He came from Sacramento in 1966 with a theater degree from the University of the Pacific and the particular combination of determination and naivety that is required to drive to Los Angeles at 22 and intend to become an actor. He did not come with connections. He did not come with money. He came with the degree and the height and the voice and the mustache that arrived sometime in the early 1970s and never left. And he went to the auditions and the callbacks and the small parts and the not quite right fits and the almost but not this times that fill the calendar of a working actor in Hollywood. He has been in over 100 productions since then. Television parts, supporting roles, a few things that almost broke through and didn't. He is not unknown in the industry. He is known the way a character actor is known, which is that people know the face and cannot always place the name. He is 38 years old and has not yet had the role that will define him. This is not unusual. The industry runs on people who almost made it and people who are about to make it, and very few people who have actually made it. And the distance between those categories is not always visible from the outside. Sam Elliott has been in the almost made it category for a long time. He has done the work. He has shown up on time and prepared and given what the scene required. He has sat in rooms like this one more times than he can count and walked out of them to get the part or not get the part, and gone back to Oregon when there was time and come back to Los Angeles when the next thing came up. He has not compromised on the things that matter to him, which is partly why he is still in the waiting room. The mustache, for instance. No one in Hollywood has ever successfully asked Sam Elliott to remove the mustache. Several have tried. Casting directors mostly, with the careful tone people use when they are about to suggest something they suspect will not go well. The conversation always follows the same shape. The suggestion offered as a professional observation, the silence in which Sam Elliott receives the suggestion, and the silence in which the conversation ends. The mustache arrived sometime in the early 1970s and never left. And over the years it has become a kind of position, not vanity, not affectation, but identity. He knows what he is. He knows what he looks like. A man who looks like Sam Elliott does not play the romantic lead in a studio comedy. A man who looks like Sam Elliott plays the man who has come a long way and knows something the other people in the room don't know yet. He has understood this about himself for years. He has been waiting for the industry to understand it too. The film is called Mask. It is based on the true story of Roy L. Dennis, a teenage boy with Lionitis, a rare bone disease that enlarged and distorted his skull, who lived a full and remarkable life despite his appearance, raised by a mother who refused to let the world diminish him. It is a film about dignity and stubbornness
and love that doesn't look the way love is supposed to look. The director is Peter Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich has had one of the most spectacular rises and falls in Hollywood history. The Last Picture Show in 1971, What's Up Doc in 1972, Paper Moon in 1973, 3 films in 3 years that put him on the cover of magazines and made him the most discussed director in American cinema. He was compared to Orson Welles. He was compared to John Ford. He was 32 years old and appeared to have the entire industry in front of him.
Then the film stopped working the way they had worked. Not catastrophically, he kept making pictures, but the particular alchemy of the early work did not return. The personal tragedies came. The industry moved on with the casual velocity it reserves for people it has finished being excited about. By 1982, he is trying to rebuild something. Mask is the film he believes will do it. Sam Elliott is reading for the role of Gar, the mother's motorcycle-riding boyfriend. The role requires a man who can be physically imposing and emotionally present at the same time. Someone who can share the screen with Cher, who is playing the mother, without disappearing and without overpowering. It requires a specific kind of man. It requires, in other words, exactly the kind of man Sam Elliott is. He knows this going in. The reading goes well. This is not an opinion. The people in the room respond the way rooms respond when something is working. The slight forward lean, the attention that doesn't wander, the absence of the small side conversations that happen when a reading is not going well. Sam Elliott reads Gar the way Gar needs to be read. Big enough to be believed, quiet enough to be trusted. After the reading, Peter Bogdanovich says something. He does not say it cruelly. He says it the way a man says something when he believes it to be true and considers himself helpful for saying it. He looks at Sam Elliott, the height, the mustache, the way he holds himself in a room, and he says, "You know, you're never going to be anything other than a cowboy." He means it as a limiting statement. The room waits for Sam Elliott's response. Sam Elliott looks at Peter Bogdanovich for a moment. He does not argue. He does not explain himself. He does not perform offense or wounded dignity or cool dismissal. He looks at the director the way a man looks at another man when he has heard something and is deciding whether it requires a response. He decides it does not. He says nothing. The room holds the silence for a moment, the kind of silence that forms when everyone present is waiting for a response and no response comes. It is not a comfortable silence. It is the silence of a room recalibrating. Sam Elliott stands up. He puts on his hat the way he always puts on his hat, 2 fingers on the brim, the adjustment automatic. He picks up his jacket from the back of the chair. He looks at Peter Bogdanovich one more time, briefly, the way a man looks at something he has assessed and is finished assessing. Then he walks out. He got the role. This is the part of the story that Bogdanovich may not have intended when he made his observation. Casting does not always follow logic, and sometimes a director says something dismissive during a reading and still makes the right choice afterward. The way a person can be right about something while being wrong about what it means. Sam Elliott was in Mask. The film was released in 1985. It received strong reviews. Cher was nominated for a Golden Globe. Sam Elliott's performance as Gar was noted by critics as grounded and genuine, the particular praise that is given to actors who disappear into a role rather than announcing themselves in it. It was not a star-making turn in the conventional sense. It was something quieter and more durable. The performance of an actor who knows exactly what he is and brings all of it. He did not work with Peter Bogdanovich again. This was not a dramatic break. There was no confrontation, no public statement. They simply did not make another film together. The industry is large enough that two people can go different directions without ceremony, and they did. What Bogdanovich said stayed with Sam Elliott. Not as a wound. Wounds require that you believe the person who inflicted them. Sam Elliott did not believe Peter Bogdanovich was right in the way Bogdanovich intended to be right. He believed something else, that the observation, stripped of its dismissive intent, was actually true, that he was going to be a cowboy, that this was not a limitation. Being a cowboy is the best thing you can be. He has said this in various forms in the years since. He has said it the way a man says something he has thought about for a long time and arrived at genuinely, not the way a man says something defensive. There is no defensiveness in it. There is, instead, the particular piece of a man who knows what he is and has decided that what he is sufficient. Sam Elliott was still largely unknown to mainstream audiences in 1982. He would not become the figure America now recognizes until later in the decade. Roadhouse in 1988, Tombstone in 1993, the long accumulation of work that eventually becomes a presence too large to overlook. The definition came slowly, the way definitions come to men who do not chase them. But the shape of him was already there in 1982. It had always been there. The mustache, the voice, the way he occupied a room. Peter Bogdanovich saw it clearly. He just thought it was a ceiling. Sam Elliott understood it was the floor. In 1993, Sam Elliott played Virgil Earp in Tombstone. He had spent 3 months on a ranch in Arizona before the shoot, not because anyone asked him to, not because the production required it, but because he wanted to know how a man moves when he has been working cattle for 20 years. He wanted to know what that kind of work does to a man's shoulders, to his gait, to the way he looks at a room when he comes into it. He wanted Virgil Earp to walk the way that man would walk. In the film, there is a scene where Virgil Earp walks into the Oriental Saloon, and everyone in the room stops talking. The scene requires nothing from the other actors except awareness. They stop because the man who has entered requires it, not because of his reputation in the story, because of how he moves. Sam Elliott was 50 years old when that film was released. He had been working toward it since 1966 without knowing the specific destination. His director on Tombstone did not say anything about cowboys. He already knew. In the years after Tombstone, Sam Elliott became one of those actors who is simply present in the American cultural landscape, not because he sought it, but because he was consistently himself over a long enough period that recognition became inevitable. He did not change to meet the audience. The audience eventually caught up to what he had always been. He still lives on his Oregon property. He still rides. He still does not remove the mustache. In interviews, when he is asked about his career and what sustained him through the long years of small roles and near misses, he says something consistent. He says he always knew what kind of actor he was. He says he was never confused about that. Someone asks once whether the waiting, 16 years of small parts before the work that defined him, was difficult. He thinks about it. He says, "I knew who I was. That made it easier than it sounds." The clarity, he says, made it easier. He does not say it made it easy. He says it made it easier. There is a difference, and he is precise about it, the way a man is precise about a distinction that has cost him something to understand. Peter Bogdanovich retired from directing in the 2000s. He passed away in 2022. He left behind a body of work that includes some of the best American films of the 1970s and a long and complicated career that went in directions no one could have predicted. He was right about Sam Elliott. He was just wrong about what being right meant. Being a cowboy, Sam Elliott said, is the best thing you can be.
He was 38 years old when someone told him that was all he would ever be. He spent the next 40 years proving that this was the correct assessment. He just had a different idea of what it was worth. If this story reached you, drop your state in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't. More Long Rider stories are coming, because they still make men like him.
You just have to know where to look.